Right? I don't know the phrases that they use. I know they say marker. I don't know.
That's
why.
a wrap.
Yep.
Something like that.
That's what they say at the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a start.
they do it at the beginning and the end.
Take
376.
Yeah.
And then they go cut. They clap it again at the end?
No, maybe. I'll let you know once I make it in Hollywood.
Are we recording? Are we live?
We are, but
we're going.
This doesn't have to be the official start. It's
It
up
can
to
be.
you. Okay, let's do it.
It can be.
Let's do it.
Episode 23.
Yeah.
The
Are
dude and the guy.
you sure it's 23?
No, sir.
I'm sure.
Good.
All right.
Good. It's the day after Christmas.
Yep.
Did you have a good Christmas?
It was good. It was good. I have no complaints.
No complaints. Yeah. It was the best Christmas I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would say.
That's what I heard yesterday.
25 years, 25 Christmases.
Wow.
Yesterday's was the number one best.
Yeah.
For me personally.
Okay.
Just the stuff that I was gifted, the stuff that I gifted, and the company, you know?
Yeah.
It was all just a 10 out of 10, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to start with, I was with Jess's family, you know, and I was with Jess's sister, Rachel. Have you met Rachel?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
She's great, you know, beautiful, smart, funny, you know, cut from the same cloth as my little Jessie Poo. Right?
Yeah.
Their family.
Yeah.
So obviously they share a lot of those qualities.
Naturally.
And she was talking to me about the extraction process of pearls from an oyster.
Clam?
A clam, oyster. I don't know the difference between the two. I'm not
a sarcophagus.
No.
It's not the right
That's
word.
Egyptian like stuff.
Yep.
I'm not a marine biologist, so I don't know much about all this stuff. But basically, she was saying that, I don't know if she saw a video or what, but apparently there's like a little, it's like a little membrane, like almost like it has gums, and there's little slits in it that like they pop, these pearls just kind of pop out of. There's no blood. There's no like trauma.
So it doesn't harm the sarcophagus?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. So that's what this is just all knowledge from her to me. Okay. I'm going to read this little, I mean, you know, when you Google something, the very first thing that pops up in the giant square.
Yeah.
I'm going to just read that and kind of compare it to what we just said. So
I have a good handful of questions.
Oh, go ahead.
Well. No, like you go first.
Okay.
Hopefully you'll answer them.
To create a cultured pearl, the harvester opens the oyster shell and cuts a small slit into the mantle tissue. So apparently they do have to cut it.
Keep going.
Okay. Small irritants are then inserted under the mantle in freshwater cultured pearls. Cutting the mantle is enough to induce the nacre secretion that produces a pearl. An irritant doesn't have to be inserted. Okay, so that's all that says. I don't really understand much of that. But
it's just a lot of science mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. And that made it sound like there is trauma. If you have to cut it, they have to cut the slits in, apparently.
Yeah.
I would Google a video, but
so the pearl they have is the only pearl they got.
I'm sorry. Like is there multiple pearls in one?
I'm like in my head, the way pearls work right now are like teeth. So, do clams have baby pearls and then they pop out, and then they get their full-grown adult pearls come in?
Right.
You know.
So this says, I just Googled how many pearls are in a clam.
Perfect. One, right?
What?
Okay, go on.
Over the course of 2 to 7 years, the muscle deposit layer upon layer. The muscles deposit layer upon layer of nacre. I'm kind of over that word. Around the growing gems, generally producing more than 24 pearls clustered on the inside of each shell. 5 beads. But the use of only 2 is most common.
The use of... What do they use the pearls for?
I don't know. I don't know what.
Or is it the use by humans? Like they only use 2 of the pearls. They only extract 2 of the pearls.
Right. What?
So if every clam has 5 pearls, if you go past the 2 threshold, does the clam die?
I don't know. Mollusks make pearls as a protection against irritants that sneak into their soft tissue. So yeah, I guess you do want to leave maybe 2 behind. That's what it makes it sound like.
It's like a white blood cell, maybe. Like
yeah,
it deters or it combats.
Like, well,
germs.
It could even be more like nose hairs, right? It kind of
Okay.
stops it before it gets into the before it becomes like on the microscopic level of defense there.
Here's another question: Do you think the pearl like actually like combats the intruders,
like
or
a bar fight
Yeah.
inside the clam?
yeah, does it like actually defend, or does it only deter? In which like the intruder or germ or whatever sees the pearl and they're like, oh shit, that's shiny.
Yeah, let's get
Back
out of here.
up. You know? I would think it's the latter. You know,
It's hard to.
because like what can a? It's just a pearl. You know.
Yeah, but it's hard to Google stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Foreign
I only have more questions about this subject now that you've
Yeah,
read these articles.
I'm almost over it. What do you think?
Yeah, we can move on. We could just
Yeah, I
let's-
don't really
let's-
care about clams.
we
anymore.
can let some nerd in the comments answer it.
Have you ever had mussels?
No.
Oh, they're good.
Oh, you mean no?
the food,
Not to
the
be
seafood.
Yeah,
Mussel.
that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're
not to
pretty
be
good.
confused with.
Muscle, which is of course the stuff that I have a lot of.
Were you ever in the spelling bee?
No, I did it in like 5th grade. It was just in the class. And
Yeah.
they did a thing where like the top 2 go on to the next level, and I don't think I made it to the top 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was always good at spelling, but
Yeah.
then like during a spelling bee, it's like ridiculous words.
Yeah.
You know,
Some like conch.
haunch or conch.
Conch.
Okay.
What? Look up conch. I think it might be clam related.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
would be weird.
But I distinctly remember in a spelling bee getting conch. And I went for it, had no idea, and it worked.
How do you spell it?
C Oh no, it's really seeing if I'm rusty. Yeah, CONCH.
Got it right here. I spelled it with a K.
Okay.
Is a common name of a number of different medium to large sized sea snails. So same
Yeah.
same universe,
Yeah.
but
Same canon.
yeah.
All that. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
So that was cool.
All right. Cool.
All right. So we went to me, Jess, and I want to say Joe went to a haunted house for Halloween. When we went there, we went to like Creepy World, so there was like a ridiculously long line. Yeah. Like we were in line for maybe like 2 or 3 hours. It was crazy. And there was this group of teenagers in front of us.
Yes.
That
just ignore this.
there might have been like 8 to 10 teenagers in front of us. Only 2 of them were girls. The rest were young men.
Yeah.
Okay. So these guys were like all over each other, grabbing each other's booties, touching each other, holding each other like they were romantically involved with one another, which I don't care. But you're also
In public.
In public.
Yeah.
But it was like, I'm thinking, okay, this guy and this guy are a unit.
Yeah.
Okay. It's weird that they're all over each other in public, but I mean, I have to think, how would I feel if it was a guy and a girl doing that? Would that bother me? And I didn't actually know the answer. Pretty soon, we're going to circle back to that.
All right.
But then the same guy goes over to a different guy and does the same thing. And they're all like 6 of them just doing that same thing with each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just weird. It's like a public orgy among minors.
Like part of the, the
haunted house. Yeah, part of the terror.
It's just giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, then a guy and a girl, one of the girls from the group, who was like a pretty girl, and I'm thinking, why is she hanging out with these guys?
These clowns.
These weird guys.
Yeah.
Well, then this guy and girl just start making out with each other so hard, like ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, there's my answer from before. I hate watching this too.
This confirms.
Okay. Yeah. So it isn't a homophobic thing. I hate watching people touch each other in public, period.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this is right in front of us. Behind us is a guy who's maybe 16 to 18 years old.
Okay.
His younger sister, who seemed to be only a year or two younger than him.
Okay.
And their younger brother, who might have been 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 teenagers and then a little boy. And the little boy kept, like, pulling on my shirt, and I'd turn around and try to figure out who it was.
Yeah.
He was teasing me, you know? So then the guy just kept talking to me and Joe, just, like, making little jokes. We're like, oh, yeah. But then wouldn't stop the whole time we're in line for hours.
He kept talking to you?
The whole time.
Oh, okay. I see.
And the people in front of us were doing this the whole time with each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So it's already bad enough we got to wait in this long line.
Yeah.
The whole time we are, all this is going on around me.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the line, was so over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got these guys behind us that won't shut the fuck up. You got these people in front of us that won't stop touching each other. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And then, like, I was just going off and didn't give a shit. And then they like looked at, they're like, are you talking about us? I was like, yes, I am talking about you guys. I was like, you are the weirdest group of dudes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's like, I was so over it.
All fences down.
So, so out of character for me, you know? And they were like, Joe was like, come on, stop. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are they going to beat me up? It's like they'd have to let go of each other to put their hands on me, you know?
Right.
And they just can't do it. So, yeah, it was just nothing came of it. It wasn't like it didn't turn into any kind of brawl.
Right.
They got defensive about it. They're like, "Oh, we like being weird. We think it's better to be weird and different."
Yeah,
I was
weird teenager things to say.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, dude, you're totally right. I said the same thing when I was a teenager, but also to an extent, I liked being unapologetically me, still do, but this isn't a personality, you know? Just grinding up on each other for hours is not a personality.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like, I got so heated.
Yeah.
I never was worried that I was going to be fighting with they're kids.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But I also was not backing down from what I was saying to them.
You're going to die on that hill.
Because,
You weren't going to like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Well, and also, because when they were like, are you talking about us? I had an opportunity there to be like, no, I was talking, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes, you guys, you know.
That's right.
So that was the haunted house. That was just the line.
Yeah.
That was just the line.
Did it get worse?
No.
Okay.
So it's like 4.
Let's defy him and make out harder.
Yeah. So like it's like 6 haunted houses in one, maybe 4 to 6 haunted houses in one. You go through the line, and then you go through the haunted house, you go to the next one. You're in another line, but it's like it gets shorter. The lines do somehow, and we got like separated from the people. The people that were in front of us bothering us got way ahead of us at some point. The people behind us got way behind us at some point. I don't know how it works, but
like they saw you go off, and they're like, "Let's get away from this guy."
Yeah. So I mean, I was thankful for it, but when we went through one of the haunted houses, there was a guy who his head was like on this table covered in blood. And he was missing his arms and legs, and his face looked so lifelike.
Yeah.
And Jess was like, is he real? And Joe was like, yeah, that's real. Because Joe saw him Twitch.
Yeah.
And Jess is like, that's not real. And he goes, help me, help me. And it was a real guy.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
Jess felt so bad afterwards. She was like, I was saying he's not real.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, don't worry about it. Like, he's there to scare. He's there because he can to make the best of the situation that he is in, having no arms or legs, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So
okay, I got you.
it's like an actual handicap.
Yeah.
Person,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
Yeah. It was crazy. That was like the scariest moment of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Dang. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. It was cool. It made me happy.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this guy has a sense of humor about his condition.
Yeah.
You know? So, but it reminded me of this situation I was in years ago at the casino with my friend on like Chinese New Year or something. And the casino was so packed, crowded, ridiculous. And a sea of people. This guy comes up to me in his wheelchair. He has one arm and 0 legs. Rolls up to me in his wheelchair. He's like, hey, man, can you help me get to the door? I'm like, yeah, dude, no problem.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm thinking, it's crazy. You got all these people around us, and you choose me.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it. So I start pushing him to the door, and it's a long way to the door, especially with all the traffic.
Yeah.
So we're going, and this guy's standing in the way, and he's facing away from us. So I'm like, oh, excuse me, man. Excuse me. And he just wasn't turning. He just didn't hear me. You know, I didn't think anything of it. But the guy, with his one hand in his wheelchair, puts his hand on the guy's back and shoves him out of the way.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, I guess we're advancing.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's great, because if the guy turns around ready to fight, he's going to fight me.
Yeah.
You know, so he's not going to fight the guy with one limb in a
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
So that's just like a weird thing that happened to me once. A lot of people out there with missing extremities.
Yes.
You know? We forget how lucky we are to not be among that group.
This is true.
You know?
Yeah. I feel like I've been seeing like a lot of videos lately of like, I don't know. I saw this video of a guy like who had like no legs.
Yeah.
Or like he had like one leg like to his knee or something.
Right.
And like he was like leaving a plane and like he fell out of his wheelchair. It was like, oh, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And like
that's what I would do.
What do you call those? Like the pilot. I'm just gonna call them the pilot people. Let's call them. Yeah.
Sure.
The pilot people were like, oh, are you okay? And he was like, you know. And
freaking
then like
out.
and then like he just like did a super push up like off the ground back in his wheelchair. He's like,
Really?
I got you guys. You know. So like
that's awesome.
yeah.
Well, there was like videos going around a long time ago of one of those like a handicapped person who only had one arm.
Yeah.
And no legs, and like would deck themselves out in zombie makeup,
Okay.
and then they would like hide behind something, and then they would come out and like you scream
Yeah.
at people and scare them in public. That
Wow.
stuff is awesome.
That's terrifying.
My beagle had a seizure the other night.
What beagle?
Nellie,
Nelly.
Jess's dog. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel's sister's dog.
Right.
And we're just sitting there. I was watching The Walking Dead. Been into The Walking Dead lately. We'll circle back.
That's right.
We're sitting there. Me and all of my dogs are watching The Walking Dead together, enjoying it. I mean, it's an amazing story, so they get it. She starts like shaking her head all weird. And I'm like, well, that's weird. She doesn't normally do that. And so I'm like, hey, are you all right? And I'm like kind of not like shaking
Caressing,
her, but
tending.
Yeah, kind of just like nudging her to make sure she's like responding to me nudging her, because normally when I do that she growls at me, she gets all pissed off. So it's not the first time this has happened either. Mm-hmm. So I like stand up to look at her, and she like fell off of the couch and hit her mouth on the concrete floor.
Dang.
And I was like, oh, no. So I grab her, and she's like freaking out, take a couple steps, fall over. I'm like, oh, dude, you got to be kidding me right now, because I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And, well, I had an idea. I was like, I think she's having a seizure. So I'm like holding her, because when I let go, she starts falling over and running into stuff. And I was like, please just stop. seizing right now. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I was the only one home. This is Jess's dog, you know. I mean, she's my dog too, but she was Jess's dog like when we first met, you know, and before we lived together. So I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to take her. I know of this emergency vet that's on veterans.
Okay.
And I'm like, I guess I'm just going to have to take her there because that's what we did. I've been there a few times for unfortunate reasons. Mm-hmm. So I let go of her for a moment. I put my hoodie on and my shoes as quick as I can, grab my keys, my phone, and my wallet. And in the time it took me to do that, she was like across the basement, like running into stuff again.
Wow.
I'm like, God. Yeah. So I go grab her as quick as I can. I pick her up. She's like seizing the whole time. I mean, finally get out to my car. I put her in the seat and I'm just kind of holding her in the seat. I start driving. This last time she was in the backyard and did the same thing, started running into stuff and just wasn't looking right.
This is like the second time that's happened.
Yeah. In about a year, you know, 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So the last time it happened, we put her in the car, we started driving, but it was me and Jess that time. And we drive to the place.
Yeah.
And by the time we got there, she was fine.
Yeah.
I gave them to her, to the people.
Yeah.
Handed her to the people.
Yeah.
They took care of her, even though she was fine. They were like, yeah, she's fine. So that costed me, like, I don't remember how much money, but it was a lot. You know, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
don't do that again.
I figured that I was prepared for the same thing to happen this time. So by the time I get there, she's done seizing. She's just in my seat, just kind of chilling now. And I walk inside. I'm holding her. This other dog is being tended to. So I'm like, okay, well, she's not seizing right now, so I can kind of relax a minute. And I just asked him, I was like, hey, I think she just had a seizure, started describing what she was doing. And she was like, yeah. She goes, if that's the second time it's happened, then you should probably take her to her primary vet and have her get blood work done. We can do it. It's just going to cost you more. You know? So she was just like helpful. And then kind of gave me some advice too, because apparently after a dog has a seizure, a lot of times they're blind for the next like 30 seconds. So they'll seem out of it. They'll come out of their seizure, but seem out of it. Yeah. It's because they can't see nothing. So it's best to be like, hey, I'm right here. Put your hands on them.
Yeah.
And let them hear your voice. So I was like, all right, cool. While I was driving to the vet, Jess called me. She's like, hey, where you at? I was like, I'm with Nelly right now, kind of explain what's going on. I was like, we're going to that emergency vet, but it's right by Fort Zumwalt Park. And I don't know if you've seen Fort Zumwalt Park at night in the month of December. It's backed all the way up because of the lights. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get into the parking lot because the traffic's going to be backed up.
Yep.
Thankfully, it was only backed up going the other way. On the side I came from, there was no traffic.
You were heading west and it was cleared out, right? Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, so I took her home and everything was cool. I just kept an eye on her. But yeah, it was a nightmare. One of my puppies, Asa had puppies last year, and one of them seized and didn't stop seizing until we put her down. Yeah. You know? It was a nightmare.
Rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the scariest thing ever. Dude, she seized for like 10 minutes straight. Like, by the time I figured out what she was doing, I sat with her because, I sat on this dirty-ass floor, and I'm thinking, I'm just holding her so she doesn't run into anything or hurt herself. I'm like, hey, I'm right. Apparently, you're not supposed to hold them, but I was like, if I don't hold her, she's like more calm when I'm holding her. It feels, you know. So, anyway, I finally put my stuff on and leave, and then she stopped seizing somewhere on the drive, just like last time. So it was like a long time, though. I don't know how long they should seize for, but it was probably between 5 and 10 minutes. Yeah. Which is like, I don't want to seize at all. Right. Much less for that amount of time. Yeah. So, yeah, that sucked.
Dang. Yeah, I don't know a lot about seizures, but
They're not good.
I know they're not good. And then like I heard that you're not supposed to like hold them down, but like what you were describing, like you're just wrecking the basement.
What am I supposed to do? I don't even care about the stuff in the basement. I care about her hitting her head.
Right.
Or stuff falling, her knocking something and it falling on her, you know? And it's a concrete floor. She already fell. Yeah. And I heard her jaw hit the floor, which I think sounded worse than it was because it made her teeth clamp together.
Yep.
But, I mean, it was a intense situation. And I got home and I was telling Jess, I was like, she's all good now. It didn't cost me any money, thank God. She was just helpful, a good person, you know. But we got to get her to the vet because she's had 2 seizures now.
Yeah.
They were far apart, but it's not going to be the last probably.
Right.
So, yeah, I was just like thankful that Jess wasn't there because the last time she was a mess, you know.
Yeah.
But we just kept an eye on her for the rest of the night. It was all good. She's good now. That was like 3 or 4 nights ago.
Oh, wow. So recent. Okay.
Yeah, super recent.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were good. The following appointment is still to be done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. It might be scheduled, but it hasn't been done yet.
I see.
Yeah. It was 2 seizures so far. Like the last one was probably in March or April.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's about 8 or 9 months. So as long as we get an appointment soon, she probably won't have another one in that amount of time. But you never know. We don't know what causes them, you know, because both times were completely different. One time she was outside playing, having fun, then just like didn't look right all of a sudden. Started running into stuff, falling over. And then this time we were just sitting on the couch watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Season 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But
Shoot.
Furnace went out. So it was super cold in the house.
The same night?
The furnace was having problems that night.
Okay.
And then the next morning, maybe it was 2 mornings after, the furnace was completely out.
I see.
Had a guy come over, had him take care of it.
Yeah.
Costed $1,500.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of freaking money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. But it's nice and warm in the house.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I was like, great. Not only is it cold in the house, but also my dog is seizing.
Just all this chaos happening in 1 week.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Sorry to hear that, yeah.
If you're going to seize, at least seize when it's warm.
Yeah.
That's what I told her.
Warmer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot. Yeah. That's terrible.
We've been on the topic about handicapped people a little bit. So I'm going to kind of segue into that some more.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, we're going to make a pivot away from that. But you're like, no, we're going to feed into this.
We're going to double down on it.
Go on.
Establishments are required by law to have handicap accessibility, right? So when people are building a place, this apartment complex, for example, why do they default to stairs and then have like one small ramp somewhere weird for handicapped people to go when they could just do one long ramp, no stairs, you know, and just do ramps, parks with their concrete steps with a ramp right next to it. That could just be a ramp. Why do they always default to steps? Why would they not default to something that is accessible for everybody anyway?
Okay. I have thoughts on this, right?
Okay.
So I guess with a ramp, you need to make it more, it's got to be longer.
Because it's got to have a steady
It's got to be more shallow. A shallow incline.
Okay, gotcha.
You know,
gotcha.
whereas
it can't be like that.
Steep, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. Like, the stairs you got to up here, if they just transformed that into a ramp, like, that'd be like
super
pretty steep, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you're going down it.
Yeah, it might be like just like a space thing, you know, like
they
know they can make, if they use stairs, they can make it like in a tighter space.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe like 1 or 2 of the units here that are, or maybe more, because if they're on the ground floor, maybe they reserve ground floor units for handicapped people.
But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like what about like parks though? You know.
Like, why would they have a ramp right next to steps?
Yeah.
That's just weird. You could do all ramps. That way, somebody in a wheelchair doesn't go, oh, man, look at the steps and be like, man, I remember when I used to be able to do that and get all bummed out while they go up the ramp, you know?
Just saying, if the stairs weren't there, they wouldn't be reminded.
Maybe not as abruptly and as often,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they still would. But
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, if a ramp is already there, why...
But it could be that the steps were there first, and then it was a law or something, some kind of requirement, and they were like, okay, fine. Jackhammer out a big section of the concrete steps and make it a ramp right in the middle of them. And put rails on the sides. I mean, who knows? I'm no architect.
Nah, me neither.
So, now I think on that note, we can get off of.
Yeah, I have no further thoughts on that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else we got in the old notes? Some of these are old. Man, I meant to open up with an impression of you and kind of like insult you and make fun of you, but I forgot to.
I see.
I have that in my notes. Here, open with an impression of Caleb. Hey, I'm the guy. I work in cybersecurity. I dabble in Photoshop. I used to work at Walmart, but I didn't do it.
No, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's not as
initial.
effective.
Not a lot of people will see that. You know, it's kind of hidden in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, if you're just sifting through it, then you probably won't.
Yeah.
What time are we at?
31.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's an ideal spot.
I've been taking my niece, or I was taking her. I had to take her a few times to take her permit test.
Oh, okay.
She just kept failing.
How many times? Did she pass?
She eventually passed it on her 8th time.
Wow, okay.
It was funny because...
There's no way she studied.
Well, she kept saying she did. But...
Bullshit.
And she'd fail it. She'd fail it twice. You could take it twice a day.
Yeah.
She'd fail it, and we'd get in the car, and she'd be like... And get all sad about it and start acting like she's going to start crying. I'm like, hey, dude, it's not a big deal. You didn't have your permit yesterday. You don't have it today. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
But she passed it on the 8th try. We've all been giving her a hard time about that.
Yeah.
I
didn't know you could take it that many times.
You can take it twice a day, I think, till you pass it.
Okay.
It's just a permit test.
Yeah.
It's not like a... I don't know the rules. I'm not going to just make stuff up. I was about to start just making assumptions, you know, and speaking them as if they were fact.
Yeah.
But I don't know the laws. But the cop was we went to the license office that is like it's all police in there that work.
Okay.
The woman was super rude. All people in DMVs are super rude.
They're just unhappy people.
Yeah. So
I'd be unhappy if I worked there.
I think I was talking and she cut me off or something. That pissed me off. So I was thinking about my niece now has her permit.
Yeah.
She is going to practice with my sister. My sister's crazy. She's going to be riding. My sister's going to be in the passenger seat. My niece will be driving, and my sister's going to scream at her and stuff. I'm like, just like my dad did with all of us. And I was like, man, he didn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. Big dick move right there. Just a dick move. And then I was like, but when I took my driver's test, it was easy. There was like zero pressure, you know? I was like, because this guy isn't going to scream at me.
Yeah.
So it actually was helpful in like a wax on, wax off kind of way. Right? Like, this seems like a waste of time until you're in a fight and you do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, cool, it's paying dividends now.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, a little bit. Elaborate.
I thought I did.
Yeah. So it's just...
You do this thinking it's not helping you.
Yeah.
But
like...
when you're in the situation, it helps you. So my dad screams at me when I'm driving, when I have my permit, when I'm 15.
Oh, okay. So, okay,
And then when I take the actual
You're
test...
like, why is this happening to me right now?
Right.
But it actually...
When
I prepared you
for the test,
for the actual, because you were able to do that with distractions and pressure, and now that the distractions and pressure are relieved,
it's easy.
Yeah.
Good. Same page.
Good.
I took her the first time I took her. I ordered all the Walking Dead comics. There's like 4 thick books the size of the Bible. So
Yeah.
I had just got the first one in the mail. I was like, man, when am I going to have time to read this? I took her to the DMV, and I knew I was taking her to the DMV. I'm like, well, I'm just going to be sitting there while she's taking her test and grab my little Walking Dead Compendium 1.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there in the waiting area just reading Walking Dead comics while there's like a bunch of people just sitting there they're all on their phones though, you know? I'm like, at least I'm reading a book. It might be a comic book, but it's a book, you know, you're on your phones. So
little do that like the guy next to you, you know, he's reading The Walking Dead on his phone.
Oh yeah, digital.
Go on though.
But I just was like, it's funny. I'm imagining me if I was like 5 years ago before I was into stuff like that. If I was sitting in a waiting room and I see somebody reading a comic, I'd probably be judging them pretty hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny. I was like, man, if anybody looks at me right now, they're going to think I'm a huge nerd, you know?
Yeah.
But the Walking Dead comics are some of the best ever.
Yeah.
You know? They're like some of my favorites that I've read. The show's good, but I allow myself to get farther. I'm kind of consuming them both concurrently, but I try to get myself to get further in the comics than I do in the show, because I would rather something be spoiled for the show than for the comic. I'm more into the comics than the show.
I see.
So if one of them is going to get spoiled, because I mean, they're different, but a lot of the events, like bigger events, are the same.
You can't read and watch at the same time.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I figure I would rather the show get spoiled for me than the comic.
Get ahead in the comics, and then
the show, a lot of stuff has already been spoiled for me. That's why I quit watching it in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good show. Did you ever watch it?
A little bit, yeah, till like season 6 roughly.
Oh, really?
So
okay. Did you ever read the comics at all?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, I just know a few differences, but
Yeah. You can borrow them when I'm done if you want. If you don't want, it's fine. It's out there.
All right. Hey, Preach. Thanks.
You got any topics you want to discuss? I've been kind of running with this. I got a lot to
A little
talk
bit,
about.
yeah. No, I kind of wanted to touch up on like the permit thing.
Okay.
What you passed on your first, second try?
My permit, I think I passed it on my third try.
Okay.
I think I failed the first day. Did the same thing. Cried, hated myself.
Yeah.
And then I went the next day and passed it first try the next day.
Oh, okay. So you took it twice in one day.
Yeah.
Failed next day. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So third attempt.
Yeah. I also passed the third attempt.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't cry, you know, because
I did.
Did you? It's all right. Yeah, no, it was weird because like when I went there, like the third time, I got my thing, and you know how they have like the computers or whatever.
Yeah.
On the end, and this was like the St. Charles one. As you know, I live at the time I lived like in O'Fallon, so it was kind of a bit of a ways, but it just seemed better. It was less crowded, I guess. Yeah. So my dad took me there, but you know, I got the slip and they're like, oh, all right, go to like computer 32 or whatever. So I go there, I sit down, and I look to my left, and someone's sitting there, and it's Chase. Is that weird?
That is
it's
weird.
Just weird.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's like the most random thing ever.
Just here to take my permit, you know, and we're in St. Charles. I'm like,
both at the further location.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny.
Jess and I were Christmas shopping at Bass Pro like a week ago, and I'm walking down the aisle. I'm a people watcher. I always look at people when I'm out in public. So we're walking kind of. It's an aisle here, but we're walking across it like a T.
Okay.
I look down the aisle. I see this girl, and I was like, so it was Rachel. It was Jess's sister.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, why are you here? Of all places to run into each other.
Yeah.
We're shopping at Bass Pro.
Yeah.
Places that none of us go to.
Right.
You know? And
That's
then
funny.
we shopped together for a little while. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was just crazy. Dude, I saw her at Bass Pro last week. I saw Tyler Sarquist.
Okay.
But he was far away, so I didn't want to chase him down.
Yeah.
And then I saw a man who used to be my boss at UPS. All in one visit to a place that I never go.
Wow.
And The dude was an asshole, so I didn't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
But his name was Bill.
Screw that guy.
If Bill, if you ever see this, I fucking hated you. But yeah, I mean,
He's just cut to the other side of the screen. He's like on his laptop. He's like closes the laptop.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, I just thought it was crazy seeing all those people at Bass Pro.
Yeah.
But that is crazy that you ran into Chase. Like, when was that? 15? I mean, you're 15.
Yeah. So that was like going into my sophomore year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you guys already pretty tight?
Not really. No, we were just like on the team,
Gotcha,
and we were like
gotcha.
partners on
Yeah.
the regular, but you know, it was just funny. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah.
That is very random.
Yeah. Quite.
Man, I hate the environment of DMVs. They're all like the
Just
people
draining.
working, or it's
The
draining.
light is draining.
It's bad lighting. And
Yeah.
then everyone there, the people in line are pissed that they have to be there. And then the people working there are pissed that they have to be. Like, no one wants to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The people working are so rude.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a terrible environment.
It's a bad time.
Yeah. All right. So, a person is, they have like whatever, normal childhood. They become super rich and start treating people like shit. Okay?
Okay.
Think about that. Or a person lives a normal life and then something terrible happens, they lose everything and they're poor, and then they start like taking advantage, committing crimes, trying to get back ahead, whatever they have to do.
Yeah.
Do you think, how did I word this? Does like wealth expose somebody's true self? Does poverty? Or is it kind of like people live with that, both of them inside them, and it could, like, whatever happens, you have to adapt? Like, you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, no, I do. I think, like, we live our lives. Nothing has been super extreme for
Right.
us, you could argue with that, but, like, we just live a casual civilian life,
Pretty
right?
casual. It could get a lot worse. It could get a lot better.
Yes, and I feel like when, you say, like, yeah, things can get a lot better or a lot worse, those are, like, the extremes, and when the extremes happen, it's like a person doesn't always know how to, like, handle that, you
Right.
know? So, like, I guess, like, sometimes, people kind of, like, lose their minds, or
They
they
lose
kind
their
of
mind.
forget who they were in the first place,
Yeah.
and then they become, like, like an a-hole when they're wealthy, or, like, just a cynical crook
Right.
when they're broke. I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing to think about.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, like, we'd like to think, like, if either
I would
happened,
never be an asshole.
we'd be like,
if I was
yeah,
rich.
I am who I am, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
But we've never been put to that.
yeah, we
Put to
haven't.
that test. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'd be the same person, but I honestly,
But everybody.
yeah, we don't know
feels
that.
way.
We don't.
Yeah.
But I would say this, like, a lot of like child stars, like, they were just always wealthy,
Yeah.
and, like, there's a lot of cases where they just, like,
Are
become,
bad
like,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
they just do a lot of wrong things, but
Right.
that's because they were never in that, like humbling lifestyle, I guess,
Yeah.
so maybe, like, but it's that happens less when like, if we, like, became super wealthy or whatever, we've already, like, you're 25, you've already spent 25 years just living a normal life. You've been trained,
Right.
you've seen a lot of different perspectives,
Yeah.
so you understand how the world works. So if you became wealthy, you know how to act.
That is true. And met wealthy people, or seen wealthy people that were assholes, and like, okay, I definitely don't want to be like that. But
Yeah.
there's a thing about cats. Like, if you have a house cat and it's indoors all the time, and then it ends up outdoors, they immediately are like feral creatures.
Yeah.
They get outside into like some woods or something, and they immediately adapt to that.
Yeah.
And then when they get back inside, it takes them a minute to kind of come back down to normal. So I read about that when my cat was missing. And so, like, if I ended up in that situation, like, it's weird. It's hard to know if you would kind of lose yourself in a like, if you're put to the extreme situations like that.
Yeah.
So
here's what I could see happening, right?
all right.
If either of us, at least for me, if I became wealthy or whatever, I'd probably find a point where I'm like, wow, I'm just a complete jerk,
Yeah,
and then like there's an adjustment period,
right.
So maybe
When you have to stay around the people that you've always been around that won't let you get away with treating people bad.
Yeah.
That's Kanye West's problem right now.
Yeah.
People let him do whatever he wants, and then now he's in the situation he's in. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like,
It's interesting.
yeah, you gotta surround yourself. I mean, who knows? I'm not rich, so I don't know how to actually do it.
No.
But in case it ever does happen, I want to prepare myself
Yeah.
as much as I can.
Get ready.
Well, like Joe Rogan hasn't changed at all, and he gets more rich every day.
Yeah.
The dude's got so much money, and he doesn't really change. People like to pretend that he has, but he's been the same pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
So actually, probably better, because he used to say a lot of wild shit on his podcast, and now he tries to stay pretty mellow.
Maybe he's changed, but like his core values have kind of remained.
Well, if he has changed, he's changed for the better, because he doesn't say stuff that would. He tries to say less stuff that would offend people.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, like, could you say the same for yourself? Like,
if I were to hit it big.
Well, I'm saying, like, you're where you're at now. Like, was there like a time in your life where, like, do you like walk on eggshells a little more, like, where, like, as in the past you're like, I don't care what he thinks, I'm gonna say what I'm.
I wouldn't say that I walk on eggshells now.
Yeah, that might be a little extreme. But
I used to say a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But now I would just say that I'm better about knowing my audience. You figure out, you meet people, and you kind of, I'm really good. I like to push boundaries. I like saying crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun. People's reactions make me laugh hard.
Yeah.
So when I'm around different people, I push it a little further.
Yeah.
Until I feel like when they're still laughing and I'm in a good spot, and everybody is different. I was with Jess's mom. I made a joke about, I was like, yeah, this is where we were at the Fort Zumwalt Park looking at the lights. And I was like, yeah, this is where that kid went missing. Yeah. And I just stared at her, and she was like, what? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, that kid that went missing. I was like, I'm just kidding. No kid went missing. And then she kind of laughed a little bit, and I was like, okay. I'm glad I didn't go any further.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I could have.
Yeah.
But it's like little stuff like that.
Yeah.
With everybody.
Yeah. So, like, in that moment, you're like, okay. Like, maybe, like, you wanted, like, a laugh. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But she's like,
and then I was going to.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean, Charlie?
And I was ready to. Because with my friends, there is no.
Yeah.
There is no filter. There's
limit.
Say whatever I want.
Yeah.
I met this guy. Who was he? I met him, and he was talking about his kids. Oh, it's this guy that I go to school with for drywall. And he goes, yeah, man, my daughter, whatever. He's talking about his daughter. I was like, damn, I was like, is she 18? And he's like, dude, you're talking about my daughter?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm asking if she's 18, dude. It's just a question. And, like, I couldn't tell. I had a hard time reading his reaction.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if he thought it was funny or if he was going to get mad.
Yeah.
So then he's like, nah, but this is my son here. I go, is he 18? And he's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Then we laughed.
Yeah.
For some reason doing it the second time made it funny. Made it okay.
It's good. It's good because, like, maybe, like, in that moment you're like, is she 18? And he was like, no, but here's my son. You know, you could have been like, okay, I better back off that.
Right.
You know, but with you asking like, oh, is he 18? You made it obvious that
I was
you
joking.
were joking.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's actually good that you said that.
Right.
You doubled down and
then it makes it clear that I'm actually just
Yeah.
being silly and not actually trying to
Whereas
like have a relationship with his daughter.
Whereas if you stayed silent, that guy would have been like, freaking weirdo. You know? Like he wouldn't know. You know.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Yeah, it's weird situations like that, trying to find the balance.
Yeah.
You know. Because, like I said, just as easily, I could have gauged his reaction like, oh, shit, I better not make jokes like that.
Yeah.
You know? But you're right. He just didn't know. I don't know if he knew that I was joking at first. You know, so.
It's a challenge, you know.
Oh, and
I say things a lot, and people are like, what?
Yeah.
Like, dang it.
It's my favorite challenge. I love it.
Yeah.
I have fun with it. There was one time... I think I was with Chase at Walmart on like Black Friday, and like this wasn't even a joke. My friends often get mad because I do say crazy shit in public, and no one ever bats an eye.
Yeah.
Because I'm good about saying it in a good volume, even though people think I'm not. I'm always watching reactions. You know,
your radar is always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, this one time, everybody. It was so crazy at Walmart. People were tripping over each other, getting in everybody's way. Every time it happened to me, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. And they would just look at me and turn and keep walking. So I finally got pissed off and said to Chase, I was like, this guy walks right in front of me. I'm like, oh, sorry about that. And he just keeps going, looks at me, keeps going. And I'm like, dude, that's like the 8th person to just look at me when I tell them, excuse me, or I'm sorry. And I'm tired of it. And he turns around and he's like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Is that what you wanted me to say? I'm like, yes. And like the whole time Chase is like, you know, I just put him in that situation.
It's like I'm uncomfortable right now. Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's like it's funny how like the guy matched your energy.
Yeah.
You know, he could have just been like and walked off.
Yeah.
But he's like,
Which is what I kind of expected him to do, but then he had this like crazy reaction about it.
You know, maybe on the other side, that guy was like he was going through like that a previous 8 times.
Yeah.
And like where a guy would say like excuse me and he wouldn't say anything, like, oh, what an asshole,
right.
You know. But like that kept happening, and that was his breaking point too. You know.
Yeah, we both reached our breaking point.
Yeah.
There was one time I was at a basketball game at South with one of my teammates. I was only a freshman or a sophomore. He was like a junior or senior. But we went and we intentionally went to the other team's like section, and we're like right behind these 2 people. And every time South did something good, we're like, yeah, let's go South, just going crazy.
Yeah.
So finally, we just keep doing it. He gets up, walks behind us, walks up the bleachers, sits behind us, and he's like, yeah, East, let's go East. He's like screaming right in our ear. He's like a grown man.
That's funny.
Oh man, it is funny when like adults will
They just
match your energy like that, you know, because both times it was people way older than me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
When
someone like acts like just out of the ordinary,
just making a middle-aged man stoop to our level, you know, something about that is just is amazing.
That is funny.
Yeah. I don't like confrontation like that, you know.
Yeah.
But if somebody's like, hey, there's going to be conflict here, I'll be really nervous and timid about it. Mm-hmm. But if I'm in a situation that's calm, that escalates to conflict, I'm like, well, I'm already here, you know?
Yeah.
And I usually deal with it really well. I've never been in a fist fight.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. That's good.
What else we got? You got anything? You say something.
Doing stand-up tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
At St. Charles.
This will be at the Westport one.
Oh,
now.
is it?
Yeah.
Wednesdays at St. Charles.
Yep.
Question mark.
Yep. You know. Yes.
Okay.
You know. No question mark.
When did we do that? When did we go together?
That was probably like a month ago, maybe.
So it was after our previous
over a month.
podcast.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
after. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I tried stand up for the first time.
Yeah. Tell us. Do tell.
And it went, I would say, good.
Yeah.
I would say that it went good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't bad. I was getting laughs. My closer was not so good.
Yeah.
Nobody really was vibing with my closer.
Yeah.
So, but they were vibing well with everything up to that point. And I was so nervous. I could feel my knees shaking.
Yeah.
And I was like forgetting stuff that I had went over a bunch. So I was like, they were laughing at stuff that I accidentally like left out parts that would have made it way funnier. You know, I was like, man, if I could have just remembered the things that made that joke so good, then they would have laughed even harder. Right. So, I just gotta, and that's why I haven't done it since. That was like a month ago, like you said, and I haven't done it since. I've been working far, but I've also been really nervous to do it again.
Yeah.
But I do want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
just got to change out the closer. The closer's got to be. I can't even make the closer good.
Just got to just, yeah.
I mean, just scrap it and put something else there.
Yeah. I mean, my first time was quite different from yours. Nobody laughed, really.
Yeah.
So I'm scrapping all of it. And I got
whole thing?
Yeah, I got a whole new set. So hopefully.
My opener, the opener was just like, oh, I ate McDonald's today, obviously. And like, it was off to the races. It was so simple. It's not even a good joke. Well, that's what's weird about it too, though. Like, I would write it and I would think about it and I would think it's funny, but then I went over it so many times, none of it is funny to me now. Yeah. So then I'm like, fuck, when I go out there,
am I funny? You
know? And I tell these jokes, is anyone going to think it's funny? Because I don't think this is even funny.
You're like numb to it now. Yeah. You know?
I was like, I don't think it's funny. How is anybody else going to think it's funny?
Yeah.
So, but then I was like, yeah, I remember that these jokes were funny to me.
Yeah.
You know? So.
It's really weird. Seth Rogen, he was talking about like how in like movies they do like improv and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, like something like could they do like the actors do like could make the whole set and crew laugh.
Right.
You know, and they put it in the movie and it just does like, and like the screen tests like with an actual audience, like nobody laughs at that.
Yeah.
And then like another time when they do something like they improvise and like the cast and crew don't laugh, they put it in the movie, they like the crowd goes wild, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. Like you never know.
You can never know how an audience is going to react to it.
All audiences are different. You know?
And even like the stand-up comedians that have been doing it forever, they still have like bad sets, you know, bad moments.
Yeah.
Right?
Except Dave Chappelle.
That dude is just, no matter what he does, everyone loves it.
Yeah.
But
no, you're right.
Even the pros still have a hard time sometimes.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'll definitely do it again.
Yeah.
I wonder how it goes from you do a 4-minute set at an open mic on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
To you are a paid comedian and you do like maybe 15 minutes or so. Because if I had to write, I can write 4 minutes easily.
Yeah.
But writing 15 minutes, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
So that's like a weird thing. I wonder how that process actually works.
Yeah. I'm sure like no one's path is the same, but like, yeah, I'm sure there's something to look into.
Yeah. Well, is there like a guy with a fedora and a cigar saying like,
hey, I like you, kid.
yeah.
You're going to be a star.
You got
kid.
the chops. You got the chops for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Who knows? Are you good?
Yeah, I have irritation on my arm, but no, I think I just thought of something. I'll have to tell you off of here, but I think I thought of something. I think I thought of something good right there. What time are we at?
We're like 59, so
59 minutes.
Yeah, we could wrap it up, or we could go for another 5 or something.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I did an improv show. It was fun.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, no, I mean like so like every Thursday they have like so it's like a 3-hour show. The first hour like actual teams perform, and then the last 2 hours anyone like in the audience can like participate.
Volunteer.
Yeah, you know, you don't have to take classes or anything.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I performed for the first time, and like there was like 30 to 50 people in the audience.
How many people on stage with you?
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, so like if we did a game, okay, so at the most there would be like 12 people on stage, you know, and like different people would go out and do a scene, and at the very least it would just be 2 of you.
Okay.
So
you've done both once, stand up and an improv comedy show on stage once?
yes.
Which one made you more nervous?
I definitely the comedy club.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely stand up.
It's all just on you.
Yes.
Right? You don't share that pressure with a group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, yeah. And like, I don't know. There's just like an expectation.
Yeah.
Like your job is to go up there and make people laugh.
Right.
Whereas like improv, like it doesn't always have to be funny. Like
right.
you can create a scene and like the
like
audience could laugh or not laugh, you know?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't know. And, yeah.
I feel like with improv, it usually goes down the path of
Humor.
funny.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like with stand up, there's all that pressure of like you writing these jokes, you intend this to be funny.
Right.
And when it's not funny, you're like, it's a shot to the chest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dang, I messed that up bad.
Right.
Whereas like improv, you don't plan for anything. So like if something's not funny, there has been a few times where
where you said something that you thought was going to get a
yeah,
laugh?
yeah. It's stupid, but there was this scene where like I was an old guy, and the scene like I was supposed to be like sad, and there were like these 2 nurses in the scene with me, so I was like, oh, my pelvis hurts, you know, and people laughed at my voice and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, 90 years of prostitution, and like, oh, that something like that. Because that's like why my pelvis hurt, and nobody laughed at my prostitution comment. So I was like, wow. So, but like, yeah. So there's little moments where I'm, oh, whatever, you know. Yeah. But like you shrug it off, and like, I think it's less pressure because like the moments that like you do make people laugh, you're like, yeah, I'm funny, you know, because it came out of thin air, you know. Yeah, I don't know, it's fun.
Nice. Well, on that note, let's say we skedaddle on out of here. There's a little bit.
Yeah, I see that too.
Hopefully we don't lose the audio today. That would be bad.
Oh, it's gone.
Twice in a row. Shout out to our pastel Easter.
Yeah.
Our Easter outfits.
The holiday season.
One day
it's only
after,
fitting.
one day after Christmas.
Yeah.
It's been, what did I say before we started? I have a feeling this is going to be a great episode.
Yeah.
I would say that it was a great episode, but it's not up to me. It's up to them.
That's right.
So
they could think it's terrible.
They could think it's terrible.
Cast and crew could think it's great.
Yeah.
But when we put it in front of an actual audience, we don't know.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. This is good.
So, anything else? Anything quick before we get that band going?
No.
Perfect.
No. Bye.